So now people can hear us. Now we are live. So welcome here, Kevin, and I'm really happy to have
Hello.
you.
Glad to be here. Thanks for hosting this the live stream.
Yeah, and actually, I'm really happy to have you come here in your studio so we can actually see the art that you bring to the blockchain in real life. I mean that it's amazing.
Yeah, this is where I do all the magic happens in here. I've got a couple examples of some stuff that I'm working on. A couple that are finished, kind of behind me,
Yeah.
staged. But yeah, this is where I work. This is where I paint. You can kind of see some of my workstation here in the foreground.
Yeah, and I know that we will get to see more of that in a bit. So, Kevin, what brought you to painting? When did you start?
My parents threw me into art lessons when I was really young. I think like 6, and yeah, I painted with a private teacher for, I don't know, maybe like 5 or 6 years, and but it was a very kind of representational style. Obviously very classically trained, with brushes and such, and yeah, I really loved it. I really had you know, felt a calling for it, I guess would be the right word,
Yeah.
and I've done various other creative endeavors over my life, photography, music, and but I keep coming back to painting. So like 15 years ago, I went back to college and decided to be an environmental engineering major, and I was almost finished with my degree, and I decided as an elective to take a painting course, just for the hell of it, to get some credits that I needed. And the instructor that year said, "Hey, maybe you should put your artwork in the student show." And so I put 2 pieces in, and I put a kind of ridiculous price on them, and they both sold during the show, to professors at the college, which was really kind of like, that's when the light bulb went off, that
Yeah.
that there were actually teachers at the college that bought my work. So I'm like, So that week I changed my major to a fine arts major, and I was already in my early 30s at this point, and I said, you know what, screw it, I'm just gonna be an artist. And then I opened a gallery here in Liberty Station, Point Loma, San Diego, and the rest is kind of history. I've been painting full time ever since.
That's amazing. But okay, let's stop with one thing that I noticed. When you said that you started out with some classic painting and you
Right,
mentioned the word brushes, you had
right.
you didn't say it with love. You said it with some other kind of I don't know. You wanted to push the word away when you said it. So why is that?
Well, it's that's a very good insight. When I was painting for a number of years, like I said, I painted with brushes, and I really liked what I was producing, but it didn't really like light that fire. I could do it. I was very competent with the medium, but it was only when I stopped using brushes and I started using different tools, palette knives, painting knives. That's some of the tools that you see here. Like this is a custom palette knife here. It has some serrated edges, and another one. And there's a bunch of different size tools and stuff that I use. But I don't know. There's just a much more, I guess, visceral connection to being able to work with larger volumes of paint. So as opposed to just applying the paint like you would with a brush, you're more pushing and pulling the paint across the surface, but it's almost crossing into that three-dimensional art range where you're almost sculpting the paint. So my work is, I don't know if you can see with the painting here, my work has some crazy depth to it. Sometimes it's as much as like an inch thick. And so
And
yeah,
for
I
us
totally
normal
embrace.
people, that's a few centimeters.
Yeah, it's a different approach. They take forever to dry. Some pieces have taken 14 months to really cure properly. So I have to be extremely patient with the dry time on them, the curing time. But yeah, it allows me to cross over into that three-dimensional art and really express kind of in another dimension. And that's what I really love about handling the paint that way. It's just much more visceral. It's much more, feels more hands-on, expressive, I guess would be a good word. So yeah, so I don't use brushes really at all anymore. I would say the only thing I use brushes for is to like maybe clean up the edges or sign the paintings on the back. Other than that, it's all sculptural tools now.
Yeah,
So
That's amazing for someone like I'm as far away from an art major as you can come. I mean, I designed that, but that's just me taking other people's work and putting together and
That's
maybe
awesome.
doing some finishes and everything. But that is
Right.
all made digitally and then printed. So I'm very far from an artist, but I do enjoy designing things on the computer.
Right. Yeah, I like your graphics a lot. I've always been drawn to them. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, thank you, and I want to say the same. I mean, I bought one of your early like one of the acidic trips
Yay. Right.
when I saw it.
Yeah, one of the animated ones. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like some hidden antler deer guy that reminded me of the Hannibal TV show. I don't know if you have
Right.
seen that. That's a
Yeah.
very disturbed TV show, and then they have this black antler head
Mhm.
walking around on a human body, and man, that scared me when I saw the show, and
Yeah, it
somehow,
has kind of that
yeah,
Rorschach kind of quality to it, you know. That
yeah.
particular one I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, and then it has all the well the LSD acid part, the moving colors, and I lost the word for the
Psychedelic.
yeah, exactly. So it had that feeling. So I really appreciated it. It felt nice.
Oh,
And you
glad you bought one.
yeah, and you can see I like colors. So it's pink and purple, and on the wall it's actually very purple. I don't know how well that comes off on camera, but colors
Yeah, I
is
can see
nice.
it.
Okay, so you went and you actually did the opposite from a lot of people. A lot of people feel like, I have no idea what I want to do, so I go into an art major, and then they do nothing with their life. But you did the opposite. So how was that journey?
It was very interesting. It was kind of, you know, like I said, I had that aha moment, and one of the instructors at the college showed me an opportunity at this gallery that was in Liberty Station, and I jumped in feet first. I put a lease package together for the space, and I actually had the gallery in that space for almost 11 years. Currently, I'm between galleries. I'm looking for a new space right now. But yeah, 10 and a half years in the same gallery. It was very successful over there, and I have quite a. Well, I'm very fortunate to have a nice stable of collectors, and yeah, it's been quite a journey. I mean, it's kind of one of those. It kind of feels like a path of least resistance type thing. Like I was meant to do it, you know. So why fight it, you know?
Yeah. But okay, if we go back to the first time when your professor bought the paintings, explain that feeling. How is it to sell a painting that you have worked on?
Selling that first one was kind of crazy. It's funny because I had a friend who had commissioned this kind of panel work, and they were canvases, and he didn't want the canvases anymore because I guess the commission turned out really bad for that artist, and he didn't want them. So I'm like, oh, I'll take those canvases, and I'll see what I can do with them, you know. So I used them in that art class I was talking about, and the painting I did, it was called Butterfly Effect, and it was really cool. It had a lot of this kind of banded work throughout it, and a lot of different colors, and it had a lot of contrast with black and white. And the professor who bought it, she was I believe she taught fashion design at the college, and it was kind of hard to see that piece go because it was like, I would say it was maybe like the fourth or fifth piece I did that I really would call my own or in my own style. And so they kind of feel like children, you know. So you're kind of like sending them out into the world, you
Yeah.
know. So you know, it was an incredible feeling to sell that work. And like I said, the light bulb went off, and ever since then it's been, you know, just introducing my work to, you know, as many people as I can. And my favorite thing is talking to people about art, you know, talking to them about the process, talking to them about, you know, message I'm trying to send with my work, talking about the expression. And yeah, it's a good feeling. It's a great feeling. I mean, I think I've painted maybe between 600 and 700 works in the last 14, 15 years. And I think I've sold probably just over half of those have gone to homes. I mean, all over the world. And there's some in Europe, there's some in Asia. I have a few in Australia, mostly here in the States. I would say about 90%. It went to different states here in the U.S. So yeah, it's a great feeling. I'm very humbled by it. I didn't, like I said, I was going into environmental engineering, so, but changing my major, I did have like I had a really hard chemistry class, and I had a really difficult higher math class left. So I was saved from having to take those really difficult classes.
You fled from the hard classes then.
Yeah, I got way up there into the harder math, and I was able to do it. It took me probably longer than most people to grasp some of it, but I pushed myself, but I didn't have to do the last course before the degree, so I got saved on that one.
But that's amazing, and I mean, now that you have sold a few hundred paintings in real life, then you know that hopefully a lot of them are actually hanging up in someone's home. I guess you can't by certain say that all of them are doing it, but at least they were intended to do that. Hopefully,
yes, they're being looked at. Thank God.
Yeah,
they're on people's walls being enjoyed. That's the most important thing. It's like, if you're familiar with my work, you see there's a lot of color, there's a lot of expression, very highly saturated colors, a lot of movement, and my hope is that the work brings joy and light and meaning. Everybody has their own interpretation of art and their own taste. But I do hope that people get some joy from them. Get some some happiness, and that's ultimately what drives me, is if I'm bringing color and I'm bringing light and I'm bringing expression into somebody's life or home. That's kind of what really pushes me. So
since you have sold a few hundred of them, have you met all these people, or are some sold by other people for you?
That goes back to the earlier question, which was when I was talking about opening the gallery, that was another decision that I made, was to leapfrog over the middleman, not go the traditional route, which would be try to get my work into galleries, enter juried shows, submit my work and try to be part of group shows and stuff. I just went and opened my own gallery. And during those 10 years, I carried only my own work in that gallery. So to answer your question, I sold 99% of them myself directly to people. And I had one of my collectors would gallery sit for me when I was on vacation and stuff. And I even got some feedback over the years that people really want to meet the artist, because they're not just buying, a material object necessarily, to put on their wall. They're buying an extension of the artist, an extension of their expression, so that when they meet the artist, they want to know who that person is, what their personality is, and also have that connection with the person, because like I said, the painting is an extension of the artist. And so I found that meeting with people and being able to close the sale in person really meant a lot. It's buying a painting is not like buying a new shirt, or even buying a car. It's something that's like, it's super personal to people. And I think even at the price point that I had my work at, I think it was really important for people to go in and not just find the work that they like and connect with it, but also to connect with the person that created it. And so I think that there's a kind of a second reward, that comes along with that. And I wanted to, I'm not a salesman, I'm not going to come in and when I'm in the gallery and say, hey, you want this painting, you need this painting. It's like music, it's like dance, it's like anything else. Everybody has their own personal taste. I've had people walk by a piece and make some negative comments about it because it's not their taste or style, and then literally 10 minutes later somebody come in, pay full price, and not even want me to carry it to the car with them. They just want to just take it and go. So it's like, it's night and day. It's like everybody has their own kind of specific taste. So yeah, that doing it in person, I think, was very rewarding for me. Also to know who's getting my work, what home, is going into a good home, kind of a feeling.
Yeah, and I mean, okay, so you were selling your own paintings in your own studio and you had it on for 11 years, that means that for sure this was not just a hobby. So you say that you were a successful one, but just to keep a studio going for this long is pretty hard, even if you sell other people's work as well.
Yeah, it was successful. And like anything, there were times that were more successful than others. So it had some dry spells, and it had some really crazy, like really crazy quarters, where I would sell like a 6 foot by 8 foot piece to somebody, and that would make like half a year, for me in terms of my, taking care of my overhead and other things. So I mean, it just like anything, art sales is kind of feast or famine. It was like it either, but it all over the year it would all balance out and ultimately be pretty successful. So
I'm very happy to hear. I love to hear success stories. That's the best ones. And if we take that tree that we have in the background, a painting like that, how long does it take to make such a thing?
It depends on the piece. Some pieces are born really fast. Like I said, I'm very expressive. I really like to move paint, and if the spirit is moving me, a piece can be born in one day. But most pieces I come back to multiple times. This particular piece I probably worked on in 4 different sections. Like I kind of build back to front, so I would start with what I would consider the background, which would be the yellow area here and this area here, and then I would do kind of this foreground here, and then the trunk, then the canopy, and then then I would kind of come in and touch up some details. So that one probably I would say I worked on it 4 or 5 days, and then this one probably took about 8 months to dry. It's one of the thicker ones, so like I can kind of show briefly some of the texture here. You can kind of see it. Can you see that from the side?
Yeah, we can.
Some of the texture on that. So that kind of gives you an idea of what I'm talking about when I say the work is sculptural, in that way.
So it takes 8 months to dry a painting like that.
Yeah.
How many paintings have you had someone walk into and mess up? Or has that happened?
Oh. That's been like the bane of my existence. I paint, one of the things I do, I paint flat because the volume of paint is so heavy that if I paint it upright, it would literally run right off the panel. But I try to store them on racks so that they get filed away and dry that way. But yeah, I mean, having people come in the gallery and not just touch my works, but even kind of like, really want to get in there because it looks like candy. Like these big globs are really color. It looks like taffy or candy or something. And I just had to, put signs up, please don't touch, please don't touch. But yeah, it's happened very often when people come up and they just touch a piece. Probably, I'd say at least half a dozen times someone stuck their finger in a wet painting on my workstation. So I mean, it's just one of those things. I mean, it's kind of, in one sense, it's really cool that people are so like drawn in and I guess stimulated by the textures and colors that they can't help themselves. But at the same time, it's kind of like, no, don't mess it up. Don't screw it up. And it always was adults. You'd think it would be kids, but it was never kids. It was always like full on adults coming in, and going, look. So yeah, that was one of the funny parts of having a gallery. People coming in.
Yeah, and yeah, that's pretty cool actually. And I would think I would probably count myself as someone that would want to touch it, but likely I wouldn't. But I would have to control myself. And if I had that painting when I'm just sitting around, I would probably start to touch it and break it. So
yeah, once they own it, they could touch it all they want. Like some people that really like, if they asked really nicely and it was dry, I would let them just lightly run their finger over the texture, just because I maybe knew them maybe or trusted them that they're not going to really be aggressive with it. So I mean, I've let people touch the works. But obviously, if it's theirs, they can do what they want with it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's really cool, actually. And you said that some periods was difficult. Did you ever like start to consider doing something else, giving up, or has it always been pushing?
Working on the art and doing this as a vocation full time, I don't think I've ever really questioned it. Um, I do enjoy expressing myself in different ways, like I said, photography, music, and I've tried a bunch of different stuff, but it's always painting that's come the most naturally. If there's any time that I've ever really questioned what I'm doing, it would be questioning whether I should be running the gallery, kind of as a business, as a sales outlet,
Yeah.
and be the artist at the same time, because they're really two different hats. And it's hard to be in both minds at the same time. Like if I'm in creative mode and I'm really, feeling motivated and inspired to work and create new pieces, it's like I'm in the zone. I need to paint, and because there have been dry spells with being creative too, where I could go many months, kind of like there's writer's block, there's like a painter's block too. I could go half a year sometimes without painting anything. And so but when I'm in painting mode, it's like I have to just produce, because I don't know when that faucet is going to shut off, when that, because it feels like I'm kind of a conduit for some energy that I don't have any control over at times. So when it's on, I have to be present and have to be working. So if I question anything over time, it would be it would definitely be whether to be in the sales role in the gallery. And I actually just recently closed my doors temporarily at my location, obviously with what's going on in the world right now. And landlord locked my building, so I basically wasn't able to get into my building where my gallery was for for 5 months. My access was hindered, so I just said, you know what, I'm going to wait this thing out, with the global health crisis, and probably reopen sometime next year in a different location. So that's kind of the short term plan, to do it that way. But it's kind of cool because now I'm back in my home studio, and I'm producing. I'm producing a lot of new works for another show when I reopen. So that's kind of exciting at the same time.
Yeah, I mean that really frees up your time, so you can control it more. You don't have to be there, and
Exactly.
yeah, that's cool. So let's go to what most people here will consider the most interesting stuff. How did you find yourself into the blockchain? Is that something new or something you have been interested in for a long time?
It's a great question. I've been interested in blockchain as a technology for a long time. I mean, the idea of decentralization, distributed ledgers, non-centralized forms of money has been very interesting to me. I had a friend that was really into it early, like 2014, 2016, and he turned me on to a few books, and I thought it had a lot of promise. And I invested probably late, like 2016. I filled some bags up, and and did pretty well on some I got killed on, like most people have that story.
Yeah.
But I've held long term on a lot of that. But I just think that the innovation is just, it's mind blowing. I mean, if you understand the technology, you see the promise, and you see how it could really help the world. That's what really turned me on onto the blockchain. As far as blockchain, and it comes to art, there's been a lot of really novel projects out there on how to immortalize people's art up there, and provenance for work, where a piece has been, who's owned it, how much it sold for. All that stuff is just super important to the art world. Serial numbers, for pieces, especially when they're unique and one of a kind. So that part of it has really enticed me. But it really wasn't until Garbage Pail Kids
Yeah.
came along. You blame the Garbage Pail Kids. I was a huge fan.
Your shirt actually looks a little bit like the explosion from the atom bomb.
Right? It definitely does
Yeah,
have a
that's really.
similar
Yeah.
similar feel. Atom Bomb there. But yeah, I was really into the Garbage Pail Kids in the '80s. I remember going to Little League games and going to the concession stands and buying packs of Garbage Pail Kids, and I've collected the physical ones. And then when they came out on the blockchain, I was just like, "Oh crap, this is really badass!" It's like I understand both of these things. They have a huge cultural impact, in my life and across the world over the last 30 years. So, I kind of got into it, and what really cemented it for me was the community actually, going on to Telegram and finding like-minded collectors that really enjoyed, the art, and were really drawn to not just the technology but the nostalgia of the Garbage Pail Kids, and that so I kind of went in heavy on that, and through that discovered all the different not necessarily a use case, but all the other things that come with the blockchain. For example, Crypto Slam, and all the statistics around, collecting the cards and building sets and set ratings and collection rankings and all that stuff. Really just kind of like, oh my God, you couldn't do this, when you had the physical cards. I mean, you could trade with your buddy, you could bring your binder to school, and swap out a few cards, but now I can trade cards with somebody in Vietnam. Now I can sell my cards on a decentralized marketplace to anybody in the world and that just like, it honestly, blew my mind. And going back to the community, meeting, all these like-minded folks in there that were there for the same reason, they turned me on to the Atomic Assets platform. And it was actually Big Mike on Telegram. He
great dude. He actually has the store that I bought this cap from. So
nice.
Shout out to him again. Yeah.
Shout out to Block Shop. Yeah, he put some of his photography. He minted some assets on the platform, and I was like, "What is this?" And so him and a number of other people that we call the crypto OGs.
Yeah.
They showed me how to do it, and I had a lot of questions because I was like, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do that, and he walked me through it, and Jonah from Atomic Assets and Pink Network, those guys, they really helped me. And so I test ran a few of my works up there, and even did some animated ones just to kind of play with it and see what people would be interested in, and it took off, and so I said, what, I'm gonna get my entire collection up there, and I mean, the rest is kind of history. It's been just very humbling, but also mind-blowing at the same time that people are taken with my work in the format that they're in, as NFTs, digital collectibles, and I've tried to keep the mintages really low. Pretty much everything is definitely under 100, but I would say 90% of them are under 30.
Yeah.
Release. So, I mean, I think that there's a lot of interest when there's few of them that are printed. So, it's been very fun to engage and to watch the sales come in.
Have this triggered some more ideas for how you can use this in the future, or something like that? Because I have an amazing idea for it, but
I'm excited to hear it.
You.
I'm definitely looking forward to adding some more features. Maybe some backs to the cards or to the actual NFTs themselves of the paintings, and I'm not sure exactly what information I would put back there, but something to kind of give them some additional features. Doing, potentially doing regular drops, each month or each quarter. There are so many ways you can use, the technology. I've had a bunch of different ideas on, maybe doing like a bunch of paintings, but have a theme, of some sort that people can collect, and maybe in the future, adding some sort of functionality. I don't know yet, but I mean, it's kind of boundless, where this could go. So
yeah,
and we're so early to the process. I mean, I think in the future people are going to look back at platforms like Atomic Assets, and they're going to look at these these serial numbers, these ID numbers on the blockchain, and go, oh, this was one of the ones that was printed in the first year. No, this is one of the ones that was the first to come out, and these are what people are going to be after, I think. So I think the marketplace can only really grow.
Yeah, and since you also have a studio, my idea is actually, I already have it planned, because this one has a twin, so I actually printed two.
Nice.
One of them will be minted as an NFT, and that can be auctioned out on the wax, and then it can be traded or claimed, and I will send that the other one to them.
Nice.
So they can actually trade it, and they can own a physical painting that I have in my home, and they can then later redeem it if they want to, or just keep it as an NFT. This way, that painting can trade without leaving my home. And
nice.
If you take that to someone that does oil painting and has a studio and has a gallery where people can visit, you can actually have this painting up on the wall on display, and it can say sold. And you can actually have a digital one that says owned by, and then it could be some kind of account, and that could actually be traded. And then if saying, well, what is this? You can buy it on the internet, and you can own it, and it can be kept here, or you can take it home if you have it.
Nice. I love that idea. You could. I've heard people, you can even buy like shares. You can like, let's say you have one painting, but then like 50 people can own it, and they can trade shares of the painting and kind of be, like a partnership, that owns an original piece of art, and then they can, trade it, and the value can, potentially go up, and people can, watch the value increase. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, and for me, like tokenizing, you can even have a painting if it's a big and expensive one. You can tokenize it in 10 shares, and you can own a tenth of something that is hanging in a gallery or a museum, right, or something. And imagine having a 100th of Mona Lisa. A lot of people would feel like that's a good investment, and that is possible if it's in a museum. You can trust that it is the museum. It's safe. It's insured and everything, so if something goes south, and you have to probably figure out how you can legally own a painting. But if you have the painting, you store it, you own it, you can just promise that you will actually deliver on it by a smart contract or whatever.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I'm totally open to, experimenting with all these different, mechanisms for, getting art into people's hands, collectors, because it's just, this technology has just made the world so small in some senses. I mean, there's even, some ideas where they have, the virtual real estate, and virtual commercial buildings where you could have a virtual gallery online, but your avatar could go into this virtual gallery and view something like, like maybe this tree, and then you can, likely buy a share in the virtual gallery, and then that will be, an asset that you can, transfer and sell to others, So, I mean, it's just, like I said, boundless.
Yeah, and for me, I would love to have that opportunity to buy some kind of art that I don't have to have, but I have the opportunity to get it. And if I want to show it, I could have a digital frame, and I could put it here. And if someone asks, why do you have that? Yeah, anyone can have it, but I own it. I own the real copy, and it's stored in this gallery in San Diego or whatever.
It confers the rights to display it with that share.
Yeah, well. So there's a lot of things one can do, and of course anyone can print screen it and show it, but you can actually feel that you actually own it, and you can showcase it and everything. And as we have these digital displays going up in value or actually in technology, and they actually are great, then it's amazing. And we actually have some people that are looking and love this. They will have a piece of a car, like owning an old classic car, and they can like tokenize it, and they can own a share of it. And Rumspring actually would like to see some of your studio, and I know we're gonna do that, so we could perhaps
you want to do that? Yes, it's not the biggest studio in the world, but so I mean, this is kind of my workstation here. I'm gonna flip this camera around here. Give me a sec.
Yeah. Let's hope Zoom allow us. Yeah.
There we go. Hope you all can all see this. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is my workstation here. It's my little palettes. I use disposable palettes for my paintings. This is my behemoth pile of paint tubes. Each one of those tubes probably cost $25 to $30, and this is my second pile of tubes. And then these are the racks I was telling you about.
Yeah.
So these are actually bakery racks that are used to proof bread, and
I recognize them.
some of them for painting. So you can see I've got some, some up here, different works kind of around the gallery.
That one looks amazing on your wall there.
Thank you. Yeah, that's an experimental kind of geometric piece that I'm working on. I was kind of thinking about doing something like a robot series or something. That one's not released yet. I'm still kind of fleshing out the concept a little bit, but there's that. So yeah, this is kind of my this is my little painting studio, and this is my I kind of have art supplies over here, stuff like that. And then if you want to, this is what it looks like from the outside here.
Your garden looks awesome as well.
Where the magic happens. So
you have an awesome garden there. It looks really relaxing. Yeah.
Yeah, I get to hear some water from the pond.
We have a guy that says that he's a local, and as soon as you have a gallery, he will come and check it out. So that's nice.
Yay! Right on. I'm sorry. Tell him I'm sorry I didn't get to show him my actual gallery here. I mean, I actually just closed like a week and a half ago.
Oh.
So,
yeah.
But yeah. So, but yeah, it'll probably be next year when I reopen.
And then you will have some new amazing art to show, so that's really cool. Really cool. I wish Roy says that he wish he was an artist, and I will say that he is an artist because he's running Wax Stash. Yeah. So
he is an artist.
So he's a front-end web designer and programming. Yeah, and for people that don't know programming, they count that as a magic. So
and all the layout good. Stuff and color schemes. I mean, that's all art.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and they think it's a peaceful spot, so that's really nice.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate to be where I'm at right now.
Yeah, and we talked a little bit about how you got into the blockchain, and Big Mike helped you to bring it to see the idea and everything, but. You have a lot of them. What brought you to just keep digging? Is it the opportunity, or what brought you there?
Like to keep producing new NFTs?
Yeah, or creating your artwork, your catalog, or whatever we should call it.
That's a great question. I always have new ideas about how I want to express stuff, and some of my work is representational, like the trees, like the sailboats. And such. Sometimes I'm really just trying to convey an emotion. Sometimes it's really like there aren't words for what you're going through, what you're experiencing in life, what you're feeling, and that's where some of the more abstracted stuff kind of comes in. And that process is really it's really good. It's almost like therapy. You work through something, and a painting goes from just being this idea in your brain that doesn't really exist. It's just some neurons firing, and that process of going from just an idea that's non-physical and it becoming something physical in the real world, something material that you could share with somebody. I mean, to me that's magic. I mean, I just love that. I mean, you go from concept that's just somewhere out in the ether to something that you can actually hand somebody, physically. And I think that's a really special process. So it really just comes down to inspiration and finding a way to make that inspiration permanent. Make it something that, because I mean I think art is two different things. Art isn't just creation. It isn't just making something or crafting something. That's only half of it. The other half is sharing it. I mean, you have to bring it to the world. If you just sit and create and to an audience of one, yourself, you miss the other half of art, which is, moving other people, changing other people's perception, bringing joy to their life, or just giving them an insight into what you're experiencing in life or how you view the world. So, I mean, it's kind of all those things. It's a long answer to what seems like a simple question. But
there are no simple questions.
But it's very rewarding too. I mean, when I'm working on a piece, I don't have a preset conception in my mind what it's going to necessarily look like when I'm finished. I have a nebulous idea of what I want to create, but that point of resolution comes within the process. Like I'll make one stroke on the piece and I'll have to say, oh, that's it, stop, because it's super important to also know when you've done enough, because a lot of people keep on going,
Yeah.
and it changes. Every new stroke changes how everything else relates on the piece. So one really important skill and one of the hardest skills is knowing when to stop. um,
When
and
enough is enough.
I've gotten better at that over the years, and yeah, not all my pieces are successful. I probably say um, success rate probably 50%. Stuff that I like and am willing to share with the world. I think that's a pretty good ratio. I don't know really what other artists have as far as what's successful to them, but I'm happy with that ratio myself.
Yeah, that's
So
good. That's very good. Every two paintings is a good one, so that's nice. And it's like when I design something on the computer, if I don't like it, I just hit Control Z, and I go back.
right.
And you don't really have that keystroke.
No, I have to get a larger palette knife and just scrape all the paint off. And hopefully I can use all that paint again.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's for sure. It's more difficult to find adjust something or change it. So that's amazing. I'm really like painting and being able to do nice artistic things is very inspiring for me, and I think it is for a lot of people. And
Absolutely.
when I look at a lot of your artwork, because I've watched a lot of them on Atomic Acid, if you press them, you get a pretty large picture, and you can actually look at it. A lot of them feel like they are moving, even though they are still.
Yeah, that's kind of an artifact of the depth I was talking about, because they're sculptural, and I try to also photograph them in the way that it's not just the colors that are revealing the depth, it's also how they're lit. And so it's super important for me to kind of show that they're kind of coming to life, they're coming off of the surface of the panel. So
And that's good, because we just had the question, how do you get them on the blockchain, and you actually answered it, that you photograph them. So that's great.
yeah, I do put them into Photoshop. I do some really minor, non-destructive, type editing on Photoshop. Some cropping. I adjust a few parameters, like maybe contrast and brightness.
Yeah.
Sometimes I boost saturation a little bit to kind of get it to what's the truest. But as you can see, by this painting, they're pretty close. I mean, they look really vibrant on the internet, but this is
Okay,
what they look
even
like
on
to
a
me.
Zoom stream, it looks good, and Zoom stream is not really doing just to the reality either.
Yeah, I try to keep them as saturated as possible, so that they really pop.
Yeah, and yeah, Roy actually dropped that perhaps it's possible to get your art up on Waxstash with some extra zoom, perhaps some larger size images for people to really experience them, and I would love to see like a dedicated store for all this art, that you can really share the concept and get out the word that you actually have done them in oil painting in real life in physical form, and then taken them to blockchain, because I think that they can easily be confused, even though they are different, and you can see that there's more depth to it. You can get confused with all the just quickly printed things that they have done in like a program. They add some texture, and then they have an image, then upload it. And I think even though you can see that there's something different with these ones, it's easy to get confused if you don't get out the full message.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I'm fairly new to this, but I do have some plans in the future. First, foremost, like you mentioned, is to have a section of my website devoted just to the digital collectibles. That's probably going to be coming in the next 4 to 6 weeks. Have
Yeah.
that all up there. The next thing would also be, there are not just apps, but there are special cameras that allow objects to be photographed in 3 dimensions. So expect how when you mouse over like one of the, let's say, the Garbage Pail Kids on the Tops GPK site.
Yeah,
and then they kind of move and
Yeah.
stuff. I want to do that with the paintings in a way so that
Like this.
you can really get them so that when you do move them, you can see the depths. And I know there's ways that they have cameras that map like in an arc, from side to side, up and down, and left to right, and they can capture that detail. I'm still trying to figure out the exact best equipment for that, but future releases and drops are going to have a lot more of those kind of features, so that people can really put them on large screens in their home. People can show them off in a way like to their friends, where that if they are moving, you really do get to see that real depth and sculptural quality to them. So it'll even be more accentuated.
That's amazing, and I really look forward to that. I mean, so you can actually you can travel and experience them without actually going, and that is beautiful. I think you will even appreciate them even more when you actually see them in real life then.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So perhaps that will actually also increase sales of your physical paintings as well.
Yeah, I'm looking to really push it to the next level, and this drop, and I'm hoping it's very successful. I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes. But as successful as it can be, I'm hoping that I'm able to continue doing it and adding new things that no one else has done before, and really also help drive traffic to Atomic Assets, and keep that traffic up. So
yeah, that's awesome. And something that I know is being worked on right now, and I know that it has been tested, is a plugin to WooCommerce to accept wax. So you can actually have your WordPress WooCommerce store, and everything can be processed with wax, and that is pretty much done
right away.
So that is good if you have physical goods that you own and control. Not so good for this kind of store, because he has to pay in fiat to actually deliver everything. But if you own every part of the production and everything, then it's probably an interesting solution.
Yeah, I would love to add that feature to my site. So
yeah, and I know that that's just around the corner, so that's sweet. It's being built by EOS Barcelona, which is one of the guilds on wax.
Oh, okay.
Cool. So that's cool. Yeah, and okay, I know that we were gonna do some kind of announcement today, or showcase of a piece. What is that?
Yeah, so we've been advertising the upcoming drop that we're going to do in September.
Yeah.
September 11th is going to be the drop for the piece, but I am going to be giving away a limited edition NFT today of a newly created piece that I do not have up right now. So all of those who have already purchased one of my NFTs on Atomic platform, you will automatically be getting this NFT. And also the first 50 people that type in their wax address will also be receiving the special edition NFT. It's called Genesis Block 3, and so go ahead and type into the comments there if you already haven't bought one of my pieces. If you've already bought one of my pieces, there's you don't need to put your wax address in.
Have you? Okay, we stop you there. Have you taken a snapshot of everyone that owns this, or like have you written down all the accounts already, or will you do that at a later stage? If someone goes and buy one now, they will actually receive it.
So the cutoff was 2 days ago for people that have bought it. And actually, you were able to help me pull down the script for everybody that had already purchased on Atomic Assets. So everybody who bought before August 25th is already going to receive that limited edition NFT. So that should be coming later today. And like I said, if you're tuned in to the live stream right now, and just go ahead and put in your wax address into the comments, and you will also be receiving that original NFT.
That's really sweet. And okay, Do we have, like, just to specify the rules, if someone watched this later, is the deadline to enter this draw when the live stream ends, or do we have another time when the 50
It's going to be
ones are ended?
the first 50 wax addresses in the comment section. So if we don't get 50 by the time the live stream ends, we post it up on YouTube.
Yeah.
We'll allow all the first 50 because the comments will be there, and I'll be able to pull those out and send those NFTs at a later date still.
So that is perfect. So if you watch this at a later date, comment below with your wax account name, and you will be added to this draw. And I will help him add everyone in order. So the first one will be in the first spot, and then we go down. And if you are on spot 51, if that happens, then I'm afraid that you will be missing out on this one. But at least you were part of it, so that's nice.
Exactly.
Yeah. And we actually have a bunch of people that are writing already, so that's good. I think we will have about 10 names.
Right on.
So that's nice.
Thank you, folks.
Yeah, that's sweet, and then they can share that you're able to do this, so that's good. Yeah, that's really nice. And on September 11th, that's an interesting date, by the way, that we accidentally chose. We have something to celebrate then. What happens then? Because you will come back here.
So yeah, on September 11th, I am going to be doing my first art drop. It'll be number 1. It's for a new original painting that's titled Destiny. If you're familiar with my work, it's one of the nautical pieces or sailboats that I've done. This one has kind of a special geometric abstracted concept to it, composition. And we're going to be doing that drop on Atomic Assets platform, and they are going to give me my own page to be able to mint the new NFTs as they are purchased, just like they did with Blockchain Heroes and COGS.
Yeah.
And so that's the big exciting news. This will be the first collector version of the NFTs. And the first drop, the mintage will be limited to 50. We did a poll online. I think we got like 130, 140 responses.
Yeah, I was there.
We put in some different variables on how many should be minted and how much we should charge, because we really wanted to engage the community and see where they thought the value was when it comes to art NFTs. And actually, to my surprise, and also to Jonah's surprise, the people are really skewed towards a lower mintage. They really want that limited number, that limited edition. They want that scarcity. And I've always been an advocate of the low mint myself. That's the way I would have gone. But obviously, wanting to make sure that the numbers add up. So yeah, we're going with the mintage of 50. They will be 1,000 wax each. That seemed to be the price point that appealed to most people, where they felt that they were, getting value, for the NFT. But there's a lot more to this drop than your standard art drop that you may find on some of the other NFT platforms. We're doing something very special. This is the exciting part. One randomly selected person who purchases one of the NFTs for the Destiny painting will actually receive the original painting, the physical original artwork that would sell for close to $1,300 in my gallery. So you'll actually get the physical painting. It's open to anybody in the world, and it will be shipped to you after we select the winner live on your live stream on the 11th.
Yeah, that will be very exciting, and I will hopefully have snatched one, so perhaps I win it myself.
Yeah, you got to get we're gonna do the wheel, wheel of fortune. We're gonna put all the wax addresses on the wheel so that it gets spun live, and so
everyone can see that it's fair and square, no cheating.
Provably fair. Yeah. And so that's what you're also getting in addition to the NFT will be a chance to win that painting. But wait, there's more.
That's not enough.
We're actually I'm going to do a special animated version of the painting. So the painting is going to be NFT. There, I'm going to create a very limited number, probably 5 to 10, and 5 randomly selected people will also be getting something in addition to their original purchase. So we'll have a special, whereas the main NFT will be 50. We'll have another one that's probably limited to 5 or 10, and it'll be animated. So it'll be, you know, a little more enticing to the collectors. But instead of just having a 1 in 50 chance of winning a prize, it'll be like 6 in 50.
Yeah, that's amazing. And people from the chat, they love it. They go crazy on this. Nice, very cool. Sounds great. Very cool. Yeah, everyone really like it. Big Mike just froze in all the smileys he found.
I want to create some value for people. I'm like I said, I'm humbled that people enjoy my work, and I encourage people to continue to collect. And but I want to find a way to, and this is the big thing, and this is where the concept of giving an opportunity to win the physical painting comes in, is I want to create that bridge between the digital collectibles, which are non-physical assets, and the physical, because people assign different levels of value to different things, and some people really do want the physical, but they also love the technology, and vice versa. Some people want that, but I want to create that bridge, and make it exciting, and build, over time, do multiple drops, and build a kind of a stable of collectors around the world, that can not just collect the digital assets and build up a collection of those, but can also have a chance or win the original painting to display in their home.
I mean, there's a white wall here, right?
Yeah, exactly. There's space.
There's space both next to it and below. So I'm and actually the shelf there is also free. I wanted a lamp there, but you see the lamp flimmers on the camera, so I had to push it down.
It looks good. I like the way you have it lit.
Yeah, thank you. But what I'm wanting to know is, can one person buy all 50, or will they be limited?
What I talked to Jonah about is we're going to do the page, and we're going to do the mint on demand. But I think what we're going to do is there's going to be a timeout feature. So a person can come in initially, and they can buy 1 or 2 initially. After you've bought the second one, what we're going to do is we're going to delay further purchases by a period of time. We haven't decided what that period of time will be.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're going to be promoting it and marketing it for the next 2.5, 3 weeks, and we will kind of gauge, the level of interest between now and then, and that'll help determine how long that delay period is. I imagine it probably will be 5-10 minutes where they won't be able to buy a third or fourth one, but we're going to do it in blocks of 2, and then once that 5-minute timeout comes, we'll go from there. I don't think that there's a way to prevent somebody from using multiple accounts.
No, not really.
That people would give other people an opportunity and a chance to participate, and not buy so many with different accounts that it blocks everybody else out. But there's also kind of a value built into the way we structured it. We're doing 50, we're doing 1,000 wax. I've already mentioned that the original physical painting that we're have a surprise already has a value assigned to it.
Yeah.
So at a certain point, buying 20 or 30, doesn't look as attractive, because then you've already exceeded necessarily the value of the physical painting itself, what the market is currently.
But also, I would see that that's kind of a compliment towards you, because that person wants to spend a lot of wax to get that painting.
Absolutely. If someone's going to go, through, all the machinations of logging out, logging back in, and you know, buying two and then buying two more, and then 5 minutes later, I mean, we can't, necessarily police that or stop that, but Jonah is anticipating, and other folks I've talked to, that it will, be a success, and we will sell all of them. I'm not going to speak to how fast
I'm not. I'm sure that everyone will sell out for sure.
So,
yeah.
And how successful this one is will determine, future drops. I may do multiple pieces in drops. I may do like a collection of 4 to 6 in future drops with even lower mintages. I mean, there's all sorts of ways that we can, structure the numbers. And we also did a poll online about which style or composition of my work seemed to appeal to people. And it turned out, that the geometric stuff and the abstract and the sailboat seemed to be the most popular. So I figured, why not do a geometric sailboat?
Yeah, it sounds perfect.
So I kind of combined the best 2 poll responses, into one piece and created it. And that's kind of something differently. All the stuff that's currently on Atomic Assets platform are pieces from my collection or catalog that are already in existence. Moving forward, these will all be new pieces that take into mind the platform itself. So how I design them, the colors I use, the composition, whether or not I animate them, that stuff will be, on the front end, I'll be thinking about how I can turn this into an animated piece, how I can make this composition more appealing in a digital or animated format on the platform. So it's going to evolve, and that's the really exciting part is seeing how this first drop goes, but then in subsequent future drops, this process of minting NFTs and creating them for digital collectibles is going to change how the work looks and is perceived. So that's kind of like, and I'm totally open and excited to that. I'm open to the way I approach the work and the finished product being influenced by the final product. So that's really cool.
Yeah, and if I can influence you, purple, pink, orange, very good colors.
purple and yellow are my favorite color combinations. So I'm very activated by that.
It's
I actually talked
great.
to one of my color theory professors told me that that people with brown eyes, I don't know what color your eyes are, I can't see it.
They are very blue. If that
very blue.
Well,
maybe it's not apply to you if purple is your favorite color, but they said that purple and yellow make brown when you combine them, and so people with brown eyes are more activated by those colors.
Nice.
I don't know if it's true or not, but see, it makes sense to me since I have brown eyes. So.
Yeah, and my eyes are as blue as you can get, and my skin is white, and my hair is blonde. So I'm as Swedish as one can get here.
There you go.
And Roy says that he's gonna build support for this on Wax Stash, so that is amazing.
Awesome, Roy. Thank you.
Well, okay, somehow I'm actually doing 2 streams on YouTube. I have no idea how that happened, so perhaps we're missing one chat right now. Not sure how that actually happened, but that's amazing. I can do double. I can be on 2 places at once.
Wow, that's impressive.
So then we are not 11 people here. We may be more than 11 people. We have 7 people on another one. Yeah, the other one has another name. I don't know how that happened. We have 18 people watching, so that's sweet.
Right on. Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome, new 7 people.
Yeah. So that's technical things. I'm new with this live streaming, so I will try to learn what I did wrong here, but it's okay. Probably the stream key is the issue here. But yeah, so when is this going live? When can we go and buy all 50 of these?
We're going to be doing the first art drop on September 11th. That will be a Friday, 7:30 p.m. CEST, and that would be 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So the same time that we did today's interview live stream will be the same time, but on Friday, September 11th. That's when we'll be going live.
Yeah. So we go live on September 11th, and that is the same time as you can buy these.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we're going to figure out when we're going to do the selection for the live stream. I mean, obviously I want to make sure we're not going to do the drawing until all 50 are sold.
Yeah.
I'm anticipating they will all sell out quickly, and that we could do the live stream the same day. That's what we're shooting for, at least. So, but those details will come up in the future when we do this, because we want to do this all online, completely open. That is provably fair on the channel. So, and that's for all 6 prizes: the original painting and then the limited edition animated NFT. Those will all be done with the wheel online, so that everybody can see the selected winners. So.
Yeah, that's amazing. And when, as we go live then, and I'm sure that they will, if we just push this a bit, they will sell out quickly, because I'm sure that people will want that painting. When will we be able to see that for the first time?
We're going to unveil it today. Should we do it right now?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's show people what they are they are buying.
This is a new piece. I created it about maybe 2 months ago, so it's not totally dry. It probably needs another 6 weeks, but by that time we'll have selected the winner, and I'll get it packaged up and shipped out. So I'm going to go off camera for 1 second here and pull this bad boy out. So I'm going to grab the camera because I want you guys to see this. I want you to see it away from any interference in the background here. So give me 1 second. Sorry for the shaky video.
Shaky. I can shake at the same time. Yeah. Uh-oh, shit just got real is what they dropped now. So let's see.
Real.
Yeah.
So, all right. So here it is. This is the painting right here. This is Destiny. It's one of my geometric abstracts, and it's semi-representational. It has the sailboat and sunset theme, and I really love this piece because it shows the full range of the colors of the spectrum, which is what I try to do with a lot of my pieces, is try to get them to represent the full range here. So as you can see, this piece is it's 20 by 16, so it's a good size. This is not a small piece of artwork. This is a good sized piece of art here. So
kind of perfect next to my painting here on the wall.
And you can see this one has some nice some nice depth to it, and you can kind of see a little bit of the details of the expression and the stroke throughout the piece here. So I really love it. It's funny, my dad came by and visited recently, and he says it's one of my best pieces. I don't know how true that is, but I love it. I think it's a great representation.
Yeah, people love the color. It looks amazing, off the chart, iconic Vinger. Javier has a good question. 20 times 16 centimeters or inches?
Inches. So that's it's a good size piece, so
yeah, just double it and add a little bit more and it's correct.
Trying to get something in there for for scale. So that's an iPhone there, and that's the painting. So that kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of the scale there. Yeah, it's a good size piece. I would say this would be considered for me, for my work, like medium. On the medium, because I mean I paint. If you look at this panel on the back wall here,
yeah,
that's a huge panel. That's 60 by 60, so that's 5 feet.
Yeah,
so that gives you an idea of the size of this one. So this would look good on pretty much any wall, and if you had it in your in your house, it would definitely draw a lot of attention because of the vibrant colors and the strong composition. So
and those colors looks like they fit my room, so I'm for sure gonna buy myself 1 or 2 of these if I have the time for it. So that would be
look
nice.
It's got the purple triangle in there too.
Yeah, it's made for my room, right? I will be the one buying all 50. someone bought everything, and I'm like, no, I'm here live streaming. I didn't do anything, and every asset go to my account somehow. No, but that sounds amazing, and I'm sure that the person that gets it will be very lucky. And how does the shipping work? Will the person that wins it need to pay for shipping, or will you cover that?
I'm going to cover that. That's something that I mean, obviously shipping to some parts of the world, I probably North Korea is not going to happen. So that's probably the only country I can really think of that we would have a problem getting something physical into. I've shipped to Europe in the past, and I've shipped to, like I said, Australia. I've shipped to the Far East. So I mean,
how scary is that?
I always have a little bit of anxiety about shipping things long distance, but I really pack and ship things really well and make sure that it's like 3 boxes. I'll build up 1 box around it so nothing touches the surface of the painting. Then I put it in a second box after bubble wrapping it, and then I take that second box to a professional packer and shipper, and then they put the piece in another box. So and then obviously the piece will be insured wherever it goes, so that in case something happens, everything will be fine.
You're like like Exhibit did with Pimp My Ride. I heard you like Nintendo, so I put the Nintendo in your car so you can play while you drive and everything. You put nice. A box in a box in a box instead, so that's nice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when we select the wax address, that person will have to contact me with their shipping details, and I will get the piece shipped out to them ASAP. They're the winner. That's how it's going to work.
Yes. Yeah, so I will send you my address soon.
Right. Hopefully, in the future, we can have all that programmed in for subsequent things. We can have the random selection for the drawing, and that person will automatically receive an email where they can input their address and everything. But for now, we're just going to keep it. You contact me if your address is the winner on the live stream, and you can prove it's your address, and I will ship you the piece.
I mean, I love the idea. I really do. Combining physical with digital is the way forward, and this is just amazing.
Yeah, like I said, I think the idea of creating that bridge is going to be really cool.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I just started the other chat to see if we have some kind of comments there. That wasn't that lovely. Someone said that he loves all the wax gear, and yeah, I have a wax shirt, a wax cap, and a wax coin, of course.
We got to have a wax token.
This is probably the most rare item I have that is wax so far, so that's nice. And then we have the message on the wall: "Buy wax." Is what it says. Yeah. So that's nice. Okay, so I think we have been on here for over an hour, almost 75 minutes is the time. Yeah, so I think that we should actually feel like this is done for today, and everyone should keep up and stack some wax to buy some digital art.
Right on. That sounds like a good plan. Yeah. Thank you to everybody who tuned in, and to all those that have supported the NFTs and purchased my work. I appreciate it, and looking forward to doing this first drop, and looking forward to it being very successful.
Yeah.
And thank you for hosting this live stream. I mean, that's let's promote the hell out of it.
Thank you, and I'm just happy to help everyone, and I wish everyone in the world the best success that they can achieve. So that's awesome.